Hello guys, today is the first lesson of the educational channel Train Your Brain, and today we will get acquainted with the topic of function and the graph, domain and the range, even and the odd functions and the constant function. So let's start our lesson without wasting time talking. First, let's remember what a function is. What is a function? A function is a binary relation between two sets that associates every element of the first set to exactly one element of the second set. And we mustn't forget that the function is always on this form, which is y is equal to f of x. Don't forget that, okay? And you may have a question like this. What is a graph? In mathematics, the graph of a function f is a set of ordered pairs where f of x is equal to y. And I want to say that a graph is a special case of a relation. Look at these pictures. There are three graphs of different functions, and we will show you graphs of each function, which we will be studying in the coming weeks. Then, what about domain and range? The domain of a function is a complete set of possible values of the independent variable, which is x. And when we are looking for a domain, we must remember these rules. The first one is the denominator of a fraction cannot be 0. The second one is the number under square root sign must be positive in this section. These are really important in any situation of a function. Don't forget that, okay? What's the range? The range of a function is a complete set of all possible resulting values of the dependent variable, which is y usually, after we have substituted the domain. And now, let's try to solve problems concerning this topic, because I think solving problems during the lesson is the best way to explain. Look at this, the first example. F of x is equal to 1 minus 2x minus x squared, and we have to find the domain and range of this function. Since it's a polynomial, the domain of this function is from negative infinity to positive infinity. And don't forget that all polynomials have domain from negative infinity to positive infinity, okay? Then we have to use these formulas to find the range of this function. At first, we have to find the discriminant of this equation. J is equal to b squared minus 4 times a times c is equal to minus 2 squared minus 4 times minus 1 times 1. And we know that our discriminant is equal to 8. Then we have to use this formula to find the range, of course. N is equal to minus z divided by 4a, which is equal to 2. And be careful in such cases. If a is greater than 0, we will get answer like this, from 2 including 2 to positive infinity. If a is less than 0, so our answer will look like this, from negative infinity to 2 including 2. And we know that our a is -1, -1 is less than 0, so it means that our answer looks like this. Then the second example, f of x is equal to 7 divided by 2x minus 3. It's known that the denominator cannot be 0, that's why we have to write it. 2x minus 3 doesn't equal to 0, 2x doesn't equal to 3, and then our unknown, or our x, doesn't equal to 3 over 2 or 1.5. And it means that the domain of this function is a set of all real numbers except 1.5. And you can write like this. And the range of this function is a set of all real numbers except 0. Is a rational function. The third function, f of x is equal to the square root of 4x minus 5. And as we all know, there's only a positive number under the square root. And let's write like this. 4x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 0. 4x is greater than or equal to 5. Then x is greater than or equal to 5 over 4. It means that our domain is from 5 over 4, including 5 over 4, to positive infinity, and the range of this function is from 0, including it, to positive infinity. Then the next topic is even and the odd function. You may be asked to determine algebraically whether a function is even or odd. To be able to distinguish them from each other, you need to memorize the following information. Okay? The first one is if f of minus x is equal to f of x for all x values, then function is called an even function. If f of minus x is equal to minus or negative f of x for all x values, then our function is called an odd function. It means that to determine, you have to take the function and plug minus x in for x and then simplify. If you end up with the exact same functions that you started with, then the function is even. If you end up with the exact opposite of what you started with, then the function is odd. Not all functions are even or odd. For example, f of x is equal to x plus 1 is neither even nor odd. And it means in all other cases the function is neither even nor odd. To illustrate this point, let me give you a few examples. Look at this example. We have to determine algebraically whether this function is even, odd, or neither. F of x is equal to minus 3x squared plus 4. And actually, we can determine it by graphing, but the question asks all of us to make the determination algebraically, which means that we need to do the algebra. So we will plug minus x in for x and simplify. F of minus x is equal to minus 3 times minus x squared plus 4, which is equal to minus 3x squared plus 4. I can see by comparing the original function with my final result that I have got a match, which means that function is even. The second example, and we have to determine this function is even, odd, or neither. F of x is equal to 2x cubed minus 4x, and let's put minus x instead of x. F of minus x is equal to 2 times minus x cubed minus 4 times minus x is equal to minus 2x cubed plus 4x. We can see the original function if we put the minus sign outside the bracket, and when we plug minus x in for x, all the signs switch. This means that, as I'd expected, the function is odd. Then the third function, f of x is equal to 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 4. This function is a sum of the previous two functions, but while the sum of an odd and an even number is an odd number, I can't conclude the same of the sum of an odd and an even function. So let's try. F of minus x is equal to 2 times minus x squared cubed minus 3 times minus x squared minus 4 times minus x plus 4, which is equal to minus 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x plus 4. And I can see by a quick comparison that this doesn't match what I started with, so this function isn't even. And what about odd? To check, I will write down the exact opposite of what I started with, being the original function. So minus f of x is equal to minus 2x cubed plus 3x squared plus 4x minus 4. And this doesn't match what I came up with either. So the original function isn't odd either. Then, as I'd expected, the function is neither even nor odd. Now, let's talk about function types. And as I said at the beginning of the lesson, we will study the constant function now. And what's an elementary function? An elementary function is a function of a single variable composed of particular simple functions. And as we know, the elementary functions include constant function, power function, exponential function, logarithmic function, trigonometric function, and inverse function. And the first type of function is constant function. A constant function is a function whose output value is the same for every input value. And we mustn't forget that constant function is on the form, which is y is equal to b, where b is constant. And for example, f of x is equal to 4 or f of x is equal to 1 over 8. No difference. Let's take this function, and the domain of this function is a set of all real numbers, and the range of this function is just 4. Namely, f of 0 is equal to 4, f of 1 over 3 or 1/3 is equal to 4. No matter what value of x is input, the output is 4. It means no matter what number we put instead of x, the value of y doesn't change. And you may wonder what a constant function would look like on a graph. Well, if you have ever seen a horizontal line, then you have seen the graph of a constant function. This is a graph of this function. Look at this picture. So let's consider the function y is 7 or f of x is 7. Therefore, we can't get different outputs by varying inputs, and that means this is a constant function. And look at this table. As I said, no matter what number we put instead of x, the value of y doesn't change. When we graph all these points, we see that we get horizontal line like this, and it's a graph of this function. Okay guys, that's all. For me, the easiest function of all types is a constant function, since I don't see any difficulties. Today's lesson is very important on this topic because it's an introduction. This you may need. Don't forget it, okay? Okay guys, thank you for your attention. Bye bye.